Longtime Saskatoon defense lawyer Morris Bodnar has died. Over the course of his 50-year career, he worked on some of Saskatchewan's highest-profile criminal trials. He was also the Liberal MP for Saskatoon-Dundurn from 1993 to 1997. Justice Richard Danyliuk remembers him as a friend and a terrific lawyer. And Richard joins us now. Good morning, Justice.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. When you think of Morris Bodnar, what comes to mind first?
Great guy and great lawyer, and the two don't always go together.
What made him stand out to you as a lawyer?
I think he was what would probably be known as a good fact lawyer. He loved the way evidence worked, and more importantly, loved and knew and understood the way that people worked. So he could size up a witness on the fly in no time flat. And the guy could be magic in front of a jury. You know, he didn't talk over their heads or condescend to them. It was just like 12 people were in Morris's living room having a chat about the case. And he was tremendously effective as an advocate.
Are there some cases that stood out for you?
Oh, boy. Morris was on a lot of high-profile trials over the years. Most recently, a trial that I happened to be the trial judge on was Gregory Furtuck's criminal matter. He was on that for quite a while. He, about 10 years ago, was on another Mr. Big with 3 accused, indicted simultaneously. He did a number of Mr. Big trials, which are tremendously complex, did a ton of homicide. He was involved with the Martinsville matter. He was involved with the so-called Starlight Tours matter with the Saskatoon police. If there was a big issue over the last 40 or 50 years, chances are Morris had touched it.
I think it's fair to say that there can be a perception around defense lawyers. I'm guessing they get asked all the time, like, how could you defend this particular person? How did Morris respond to that?
Well, Morris really believed in the fundamentals of our legal system. 2 of them, the presumption of innocence and the requirement that the Crown prove every element of a criminal offense beyond a reasonable doubt. He passionately believed that every person was entitled to those 2 presumptions, and further, that every person was entitled to a full and a vigorous defense, and Morris provided that. And yes, as a defense lawyer, a person is frequently asked, how could you stand being in the room with that person? How could you stand giving them a defense? For Morris, that was a separate item, and his commitment to the rule of law in this country was really second to none over the years.
What kind of an impact did he have on you as a lawyer and then a judge?
Well, we go back, I tried to figure this out, about 44 years. I first met Morris when I was still in law school. I was taking a trial advocacy class where they attempt to take young and callow law students and make them into courtroom lawyers. Morris came in and did a cross-examination demonstration that just blew away everyone in that class. And I remember distinctly sitting there after he was done thinking, that is what I want to do. And I gave it a go. I was never quite as good as Morris, I don't think.
Beyond the courtroom, Justice, what impact would you say that he had on the community? Obviously, he worked on a lot of big cases, but what kind of an impact did he have?
He was involved in a lot of community matters, both through his family and otherwise. Morris leaves behind his wife, Joyce, 3 adult children, and I hope I don't get this wrong, I think he had 7 grandchildren, of whom he spoke incessantly and tremendously proudly. But Morris was involved in all sorts of things within the community, much of it very quiet. I mean, you might not see his picture in a group photo of the board of directors of some sort of charity or entity. Morris preferred to be quiet and do his good deeds, if I can call them that, on a more anonymous basis.
What will you miss most about him?
I think the humor and the arguments, and I would put arguments in air quotes. Morris was a person who was opinionated and who held to his views passionately, and we would frequently debate the law as it was and perhaps how it should be. But he had a massive sense of humor. He was just one of the funniest, nicest guys around. We would frequently have lunch or coffee, and we always left it laughing together. It sounds very corny, I guess, but it really is the way things were with Morris.
Yeah, it sounds like he'll really be missed. Thanks so much for coming to tell us a little bit more about him this morning, Justice.
Not at all. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.